Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Ajoe21love. Back again here for a sports overview of topics. Another fun-filled episode here. Thank you all for joining me. Got some quite interesting, not a lot to go over today, but some fun-filled discussion here today for the podcast. Talk about Ryan Fitzpatrick. Talk about Alex Mack, Stephon Tuitt, Tampa, the Stanley Cup playoffs. We're getting closer and closer to the Stanley Cup, and we are now 2 games in of the NBA Finals. But thank you all for joining me. If you're new to the podcast and you want to see more videos up on the channel, find those on the homepage. Click the description right there in the right hand corner of your screen. But thank you all, and let's get started. So, first and foremost, although I didn't see much of him live, but nonetheless, thoughts and prayers out to Marion Barber and his family. It was reported that the other day that the former Cowboys and Bears running back Marion Barber passed away at the age of 38. I did not see him live much, but seeing the highlights and seeing the stats of him, of the Cowboys, he just was a motor. He just was a motor, and his very good days were very good. And, you know, running backs, the shelf life of running backs as far as the NFL goes, we've seen are very limited in the NFL. But when he was on for the Cowboys. I mean, during that stint when Romo was good and healthy, when T.O. was on the team, when Jason Witten was in his prime, I mean, they were very stout on offense. It just, unfortunately, come the postseason, they couldn't get it done. But, just think about how they were with Romo, Barber, that core of Romo, Barber, Witten, and T.O. through that short stint, 3-year stint, was an interesting crew, interesting bunch. But again, 38 years old, too soon, and again, condolences out there to the Barber family. We are now 2 games in to the NBA Finals, and boy, has it been a tale of two cities. I mean, now, I mentioned about my predictions of how this series would go. Storyline's coming in last week, but detailing the first two games in San Fran have been very interesting. Very interesting. Now, first game, Boston took 120 to 108 off a stalling comeback, starting with 17 straight points. One thing that has been most comparable and most similar between the first two games is that the first halves have been very good, very good, and both halves have been fairly close, very close. Then, obviously, Boston had that great second half, starting with the 17 straight points, trailing the comeback. Al Horford, Jason Tatum did not have a great game. Jaylen Brown, Derek White, he's had a heck of playoffs as well. Marcus Smart, and they really took the show in game one. Game two, obviously, the Warriors were going to bounce back, and they won 107-88. They took control, Curry, Jordan Poole, Brown, Tatum fired back, but Jaylen Brown was inconsistent. It's going to be interesting how they go back to Boston for the TD Garden, because in Boston, it's going to be a different animal, fair to say. Having home court is definitely a tool for you and momentum to your side. But, both these teams are wrapped up. Both these teams are stacked and have good depth. But, the Warriors are battle tested when it comes to these moments. The Celtics, again, this is their first finals. So, see how they adapt now for this core. It's their first finals. But see how they adapt to the adversity and how they fare on their own court. But we'll see. This may very well be 6, 7 games. Can't put past these two teams. And it's going to be fun. Rest of the way. Speaking of fun, it's been really fun for the Colorado Avalanche. As now, I'm recording this on Monday, and they're playing Game 4 versus the Oilers later today. And I post this on Tuesday. So by the time you see this, the Avalanche may punch their ticket to the Stanley Cup, but nonetheless, it's been fun for the Colorado Avalanche, who are up 3-0 over Edmonton. And, after last season and the playoffs, getting sent home fairly quick as the number 1 seed, now this season, are 1 game away. Hats off to them. And we'll see. I mean, whether it's the Avalanche versus the Lightning or the Rangers, who we'll touch upon in a sec, either way, it's going to be fun and interesting Stanley Cup to look forward to. Speaking of which, let's go to it. The New York Rangers currently lead the reigning back-to-back champion Tampa Bay Lightning 2-1 in the series, the Eastern Conference Finals. They were up 2-0 as of Friday, and then as of last night, the Tampa Bay Lightning back on home court scored a gutsy win late to win it 3-2, failing adversity. But this, as you can judge by the thumbnail, this is, despite winning and despite getting home court, or home ice, I should say, this is a tough series, it seems, for the Lightning. Now we'll see. And Game 4 tomorrow or today when you see this. But it's been tough sledding for the Lightning. Now, can they do what they did versus the Toronto Maple Leafs when they were down 3-2 and score back to advance to yet again a third straight Stanley Cup? We'll see, but it looks pretty tough judging from New York, and New York has home ice advantage, so we'll see. Chris Creer, 10 goals this postseason, and it doesn't look like he's stopping since. So we'll see. Come Game 4. The Los Angeles Angels have, well, I should have probably updated it, but oh well. The Angels have now lost 11 straight. Yes, on the thumbnail, it was 10. Well, as of yesterday, it's now 11 straight losses for the Angels. Somehow, they still claim to the last playoff spot in their conference. So, good for them. Now, still a ways away for the MLB season, but, for the Angels, Trout's not healthy. You have Shohei Ohtani, and, they should be ahead of the Astros by a good 5 games or so, but it seems like they're being themselves. Trout has not had a good stretch by any means. Ohtani, the whole team feels like it's a dud, really, as of late. And again, we'll see. It still got a ways away for the season, but for a team to have those type of players and to have a tough sled like they are hitting, it's not looking good. Not looking good. I mean, when you have the Mets and Milwaukee with the players they have winning their divisions with arguably not as good as talent as the Angels have, and they're winning their divisions, I mean, there's something not right. There's just something not right in that organization. Now, let's get to the beard. Let's get to the beard. Ryan Fitzpatrick, among others, announced the other day that he is deciding to call it quits after a glorious almost 20 years in the NFL. I believe he started in 2005, 2006, but either way, Ryan Fitzpatrick has almost played for a third of the NFL teams. He wasn't always great, but he always had those flashes, of just very, very, very good. Now, I did not see him playing with the Rams or the Bengals. I caught up to him when he was playing with the Bills, and he gave the Patriots some headaches, some frustration, and some things to think about. But, and then pretty much from there, he went from team to team to team. Went to the Titans for a year, went to the Bucks, the Buccaneers, went to, so many teams. Went to the Jets. That was really his great year. And him with the Jets, them when they had Chris Ivory, Matt Forte, Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker. They had a very good team on offense. And then, with that overtime win for the Patriots, and then looked like they were going to the playoffs. Then they lose versus the Bills, final game of the season, and then nope. Good season down the drain. And then following season wasn't as good. He went to the Bucks. He had a great start in 2018. Obviously, notably stealing Deshaun Jackson's gear and having that press conference. I mean, hilarious. He had a great little start and then was benched for Jameis. Went to Miami, had some good flourishes there. Looked like he was about to make his playoff push finally. But he got COVID. Final game of the season as he was the reliever for Tuitt. And they didn't make the playoffs. So, and then last season, I mean, anyone who watches the podcast will know I was one of the big campaigners for Washington as one of the best teams in the NFL last season. And Fitz gets hurt. Heineke does an okay job filling in, but they didn't. Chase Young tears his ACL. I mean, just wasn't good, but that looks to be, as of right now, the last we'll see of Fitzmagic, Fitzpatrick, Fitztragic, whichever they want to say. Just unfortunate, one of the best personalities we've seen in the NFL. Just unfortunate that we'll get to see him play again. For now. Things can change, injuries happen, we'll see. But one heck of a career for Fitzpatrick. One of the better personalities of the NFL. Another guy who was one of the most underrated, very talented centers we have ever seen. Alex Mack, the former Browns, Falcons, and 49ers center, Alex Mack, has retired after 13 seasons in the league. Center is obviously one of the most important situations and positions in the league because he's that facilitator on that line. He does his best to get every one of the 5 guys in position know that they're getting the right play, protect the right pattern for the quarterback. I mean, we've had some very good centers throughout the league thus far. I mean, Alex Mack, Jason Kelsey, JC Treader, Marquise Pouncey. I mean, we've had a bunch of very good centers over the last number of years. And now it seems like with, Kelsey perhaps honest last year, also Mike Pouncey, Marquise Pouncey's brother, was good as well. Marquise, him retiring last season, Jason Kelsey probably going into his last season. I mean, it seems like a bit of a breed that's going away. Very talented centers. Now, we do have some stout ones in the league, I must say, but no. I mean, Frank Ragnow is great. He's a great center for the Lions. I mean, David Andrews for the Patriots, among some. Creed Humphrey was very good as a rookie last year, but among others, it's a little unfortunate. Creed Humphrey's last game, unfortunate. But go down as a heck of a career. I could see him as getting a gold jacket. Not in 5 years, but in a few years or so. And then Stephon Tuitt. His name of the Steelers, former defensive end, retiring after 8 seasons. I am not as surprised about him compared to Mack and Fitzpatrick, simply because Tuitt has had some injury problems the last number of years, and he's been solid when healthy, but he's had issues staying on the field, and it's unfortunate that's part of the game, injuries, which have derailed many's careers in the league. So it's unfortunate for Tuitt. Another loss for Steelers. So yeah, but yeah, something to think about. But nonetheless, that's all I have for the podcast today, guys. Minimal week, but good week on the podcast. Covered a bunch of stuff. Hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah. If you like this video, click that like, leave a thumbs up as well on the channel. I will be back, obviously, next week with episode 103 on the podcast. But nonetheless, thank you all for joining me. See you all. I'm Ajoe21love. Getting out of here. See you guys next time. Peace.